Caesar, you have to go. Go. Where? Apes! Together! Strong!
So, if a war between humans and apes really did break out, who do you guys think would be the superior species?
Depends who's packing what. I think the humans definitely need to be packing something or we're in a lot of trouble.
What about you, Keri?
I'm going for humans. I'm going for survival. That's just what I'm voting for.
I would say go see the first movie with Charlton Heston, and there's your answer.
It is Planet of the Apes in the end, I guess.
Yeah.
So you three play humans, and you obviously speak English. But did you pick up any ape on set?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You hear it every time before you go for a take. You hear the call go up between the group of 20 or 30 of them, and it was that's how they got themselves. Sound and communication is a big part of this film, and particularly where Matt chose to pick up the story. They're not fully developed and walking around and driving cars and making lattes. They're still in the process of working out, and Caesar's trying to work out what type of civilization he wants to give to his kids and what type of community we're going to build. Communication's a large part of that.
If you were directing the next one, would you have them driving cars and making lattes?
I mean, seeing them on horses was kind of like a freaky thing,
It is,
so I don't know.
Well, it's kind of funny. It's also seeing, a big part of how the world developed, how it was. That, there were horses, in Europe rather than zebras in Africa, so they were able to tame the horse. It's actually, I found it very confronting. There they are. There's an animal taming and using another animal. There's a lot there's a lot of levels within this story that what these apes choose to become, like Orwell's Animal Farm. Once the animal starts owning, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. 2 legs good, 4 legs bad.
So this is for all three of you. So this movie is about survival. What is one thing that you guys couldn't survive without?
You're looking at me.
Yeah.
Caffeine.
Caffeine.
I'm a mother of small kids. Caffeine.
Okay.
Caffeine.
I'm gonna go love.
Oh!
I couldn't survive without love.
You're feeling very love at the moment these days.
Speaking of love, you guys are in a romantic relationship. So how do you keep the chemistry alive in an apocalyptic world? How does that work?
I was going to say something silly, but I won't.
Okay.
No,
She puts a little something in the microwave. He comes home with dead flowers. You make it as romantic as you can.
How do we keep?
I don't know, but I do think that's one of the binding things of all of the humans left in this specific story. Is we've all lost so much.
It's all about love. The movie is I think the movie is about, or what I get from it, it's about family and loss. It's just
and you're trying to just keep what you have.
A study of that.
Yeah.
You play Dreyfus, who is the alpha male, and then Caesar is the alpha ape. So what are some of the qualities that you think you two have in common? Seeing as how you guys are both kind of, not necessarily competitors, but it's you versus him. So do you share any qualities with him at all?
I think we share some of the same. Qualities. I think he's very like Caesar. He's a character that is very. He's very conflicted, and they're both, they're both coming from that in a place of emotional sort of injury, really.
Yeah.
You really don't find out what Dreyfus lost until the end.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's just coming from that. He's coming from that place, and they're both resourced, as we all are.
And prepared to take responsibility.
I was going to say responsible.
Yeah.
For their actions,
community too.
and
and make a decision and a choice and stick to it.
Yeah. And sacrifice themselves.
And sacrifice themselves. Yeah.
So I have to know, if a war broke out between humans and the apes, which would be the superior species, do you think?
Well, it's a very good question. Of course, human beings have firepower, you know, they have bullets, but what they don't have is the ability to survive at night. They don't, you know, they don't have the ability to survive without food for as long, and they can't really live without power for heating and warmth and so on. So I think ultimately, probably the humans would come worse off.
So you're going to go with the apes on this one?
No, I think I feel I have to. But then this isn't a film about that. It's about empathy. It's about kind of wanting to avoid that.
So you're back as Caesar. So how much more did you have to prepare this time around?
Well, Caesar this time around it's 10 years later on. He's evolved this community with nearly 2,000 apes of gorillas and orangutans and chimpanzees, and he has taken on the responsibility of being their leader and their teacher, and he's trying to educate them and teach them language, and you know, with a view to preparing them for the day that if they ever did come into contact with humans again, they would be able to hold their own. He's very proud. He's much more human-like in this version. He's evolved, of course. In Rise of the Planet of the Apes, we know that he had received this enhanced intelligence drug, which was originally an Alzheimer's cure, and it's made his whole evolution speed up. So we do see him much more human-like in this.
And in this one, he's speaking a lot more English, as well as the non-verbal communication between the apes, and then of course you guys speak ape, is that correct?
That's right.
Can you teach me how to communicate like an ape?
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends what sort of ape you are, because
Okay.
I mean, if you were a gorilla and you wanted to say, "Are you okay?" then you go.
It's like down in here.
Yeah, it's kind of really down here. And you know, if the chimpanzee, if you're playing a chimpanzee and you're getting excited or wanting to warn someone, then you do a pant hoop, which goes like this. So you can try to.
I'm not a really good.
Yeah, you are. You're doing really good. You just started off really well there.
Okay. So this isn't your first time playing an ape. You also played King Kong.
That's right.
So between King Kong and Caesar, if there were a battle, who would win?
Well, Kong isn't really, you know, he's strong, he's big, he's 25 foot tall, but he's not really, he's much more peaceful, I think, in many ways. You know, he's much more about trying to find, actually that's not true, because Caesar is also an empathetic character. It depends which apes, because there are so many different apes in this story, and part of the story of our story of in Dawn, it's about how the apes choose to react to aggression. I mean, I think Kong is at heart, he's a survivor and will defend himself, and in the case of, you know, once he's connected with Anne Darrow, he will fight to the death for her. But I think both apes, both Caesar and Kong, are actually peaceful at the core.
There's a point in the movie where I have to admit I got a little teary-eyed between Caesar and Koba. Not gonna give it away, but what was it like to see that scene play out on the screen versus when you were acting it out before it was even edited?
Well, the thing is, when you're in the moment and you're in the middle of shooting a scene like that, it is emotional. You know, every single time, and a lot of this film, although it's a big summer blockbuster movie, the intimacy and the heart and the emotion in it is very present. And you know, Caesar's journey is complex, and so's Koba's, and their friendship is, you know, it's put under question because of their belief system. And every single time, you know, Toby Kebbell, who played Koba, is an extraordinary actor, and you know, both my relationship to him and also to Malcolm, played by Jason Clarke. You know, the scenes were very intense, and when you finally see them rendered on screen, you realise that they remain very truthful to the moment that were created on set.